Happy Friday, everybody. It's Chamber Check-In time, and today we get to learn about a company called Ooma. And today I have David Manning with Ooma. But first, before we learn more about his company, what he gets to do, I'd love to thank our sponsor for this Chamber Check-In series, Delta Dental. You know, with so many health benefits linked to regular dental care, it's a gift to yourself and employees too. Delta Dental offers unique plans designed for small businesses that provide big benefits. And now let's hear a fun factoid from the Tooth Truth series from Delta Dental.
Hey, did you know that the Statue of Liberty's mouth is 3 feet wide? That's a serious set of chompers.
I love those little tooth truths. And
serious set of chompers.
Serious set of chompers. David, hey, thanks so much for taking some time to help educate me and the listeners on what Ooma is. So, David, tell us a little bit about Ooma, and I don't even know if I'm pronouncing it correctly. And tell us about your role.
Well, thanks, Paul. And yeah, you are pronouncing it correctly. It is Ooma. And to give you a little background about both myself and with Ooma. Ooma started off in 2004, and really it started off as an idea in Silicon Valley of what about having voice over IP phone service for homes. I mean, we really started in that consumer space for homes. And it started with a little device that you would plug in. It was similar to Magic Jack, only better. And people started loving it. We went through some rough times early on. You know, it was like trying to figure out the technology and the back end, how to make things work. But after several years, something came up in the minds of our management at Ooma and the marketing team. They realized something about the telecom industry. Now, I'm going to step away for just a minute and tell you a brief story about my own experience. Several years ago, I worked in the telecom industry as a customer service representative. And I'm fielding calls. People call customer service not when they're so ecstatic they want to say, this is awesome. They're calling because they have problems. They have frustrations. Now, I had been a business owner for several small businesses beforehand. And so I got that. I understand that small business mindset. And this businessman called. I remember his name was Carl. And he was frustrated. First, he was frustrated because I was the fourth person he had been handed off to. And he's venting for just a minute. And I'm listening and say, okay, I get it. And then he hit me with a question that just practically hit me in the face over the phone when he asked, how big do I have to be for you people to care? Having been a business owner myself in the past, I got it. I've been there. And I say, wow, which brings me to Ooma and why I came to Ooma, because when I learned the history of Ooma, started in 2004 in the home phone industry. And then around 2009, 2010, looking around, there was a realization that in the telecom world, you have all these big companies and big players, they chase after big businesses. They're going after the market of companies that are 50, 100 plus phones, thousands of phones. And that's really what they brought their customer service model around, was taking care of 50 plus phones in a business. Well, that's fine and well. But when it comes to the one-man shop or somebody that's like, okay, it's a family business. We have 3 of us, the 1 to 50 space, trying to fit that big customer model into a small business. It's like, yeah, you can make it work. It kind of works, but small business, we have different issues. We have different challenges than the big companies, and the fit was not very good. So Ooma decided, says, you know what? That is an underserved market. That is a wide open market that is really not being served well. Let's build our customer service model around the 1 to 50 phone business. And that's where it started. Immediately started to gain some traction and build up. people realize this, oh my gosh, they know how to do phones because we've been doing it for years in the home space, but now we have a customer service model around business. And since then, it's grown more and more. We've expanded. We still focus on that 1 to 50 phone business, but we're also working with some companies internationally. We have one company that we work with. I don't think I'm allowed to say the name of it just yet, but they have 25,000 phones in multiple countries, and we are their phone service provider now. So, you know, we've grown to be able to do that. We've expanded new products, new services, and these type of things have been better to serve our business customers.
I'm so glad that you talked about the small business community, because that's what drives the economy. You know this. And
absolutely, it's the core of our business is the small business community.
And I love to hear about chamber members' beginnings and how they got their start. Tell us a little bit more about the history of Ooma. You said they started around 2004?
2004, yes.
And what part of the country did it start? Or is this a Boise-based company?
No, it started in Silicon Valley, okay. Palo Alto.
Okay.
And grew from there. And now I believe we are in, I want to say 7 countries.
Wow.
Yeah, we do most of our business in the United States and Canada, with our, our business phones that we're spreading around there, but we're also expanding into other countries as well. That, yeah, we're growing globally because, well, just like in the United States, all over the world, the core of business is that small business owner.
Right. I was looking at your website today, and not only do you guys provide phone service, but you also provide a plethora of other things. Do you want to highlight some of those different services you provide?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, in the phone service, we have 2 sizes. We have Ooma Office and Ooma Office Pro. The difference is a few features. Ooma Office Pro has some enhanced call block or robocall blocking built into it. Yeah, I know. This morning I think I got 4 different calls telling me my warranty is about to expire, and but I never get those on my business line. On my Ooma business line, I've never gotten one of those calls. But we have that. We have call recording. We have voicemail transcription is in the Office Pro package. Outside of the phones, in 2019 we added what's called Connect. Connect is we use it. It's a internet backup solution that uses the Sprint LTE cellular network. And so what happens is, like, okay, with the internet, especially for restaurants that have credit card machines, that they have to have that going, in business that rely on a working credit card machine. When the guy driving the backhoe ends up digging up the road as we're about to enter construction season and cutting lines, it's an impact. I talked with a restaurant owner downtown a few months ago that talked about last summer. He says, oh yeah, I was down last summer for like 4 days in a row when they cut the lines to my internet and my phone. It says, and the problem is now this is my point of sale system. Sure, I can swipe the card and it stores it until the internet says. The problem is when it came back online over those 4 days, I had 5 bad transactions.
Wow.
I'm trying to recover. And where Connect is, okay, it detects that there's been an interruption in the internet service. It automatically just seamlessly kicks in. Now we're keeping it over the cellular network. And so we've provided that as a business solution for small solutions. Recently, a few months ago, we also added Wi-Fi, as we have Wi-Fi access point that are managed Wi-Fi systems for businesses. And what that becomes particularly valuable in when you have a business with multiple locations, that you can put a guest network in each one of those, but manage that network from one location, one pane of glass through the portal. And we keep growing into that business space, trying to, how do we better service our small business community? And so more products are going to be coming down the line soon. I'd say probably within the next few quarters to further help small business.
I loved reading and watching some of the video testimonials There was
Yeah.
one video that shares a small business in Canada, and I really loved his comments and how well he enjoyed having the service.
Well, I'll tell you, I like getting just some of my customers, hearing back from them. I have one client who's an insurance agent here in Boise, and he was talking about he got Ooma, oh gosh, probably about a year and a half ago, right before the pandemic, before we had the lockdown. And he has his office, and he was telling me, says when they had to shut down and lock down, he had the realization of the fact that when he sent his entire staff, everybody says, unplug your phones, take them home, plug them in. And they're like they're back there in the office because they're relocatable. The location doesn't matter. And when he talked to me about it, he said the realization he had then was with his previous phone service provider, if he had to do that with them, it would have taken probably 3 or 4 weeks and cost him thousands of dollars to make that happen. With that, it said the only downtime they had was the 20-minute drive for people to get home. And it's like, and I told us this, I hear these kind of stories all the time of people realizing, oh, I can do this. This is a whole different world of the way phones work.
Wow. David, tell us a little bit more about you. I want to know, how long have you been into Boise? What got you started in this industry, and how long you've been in the IT world?
Okay. Well, I've been in the area most of my life. But I mean, almost 40 years ago, I moved here. And so, yeah, I've been here most of my life. As I tell people, says, oh yeah, I remember going to Shakey's Pizza. I remember quail and pheasant hunting where the mall is right now. And it's like, yeah, you have to have been here a while for that. But yeah, so I've been here for quite a while. I spent 20 years in the military in the Air Force. And, and after retiring, I wanted to stay here. This is home. I went from the military into the IT world. Been off and on in the IT world since then. I retired from the military. Gosh, what is that? 17 years ago.
Wow.
And so, yeah, worked in various jobs, IT jobs, different types in the telecommunications industry as well. And yeah, and here I am now with Ooma.
David, thank you for your service in that 20-year career in the Air Force. That's a big deal. You were talking about with me before on some other organizations you've been part of. You mentioned Toastmasters.
Yep.
So that's always been interesting to me. And then you talked a little bit more
I'm contractually required to plug them.
And also, we talked a little bit about your community service
Yes.
and things you do. And you mentioned something about a nonprofit cause. Tell me more about that with the Idaho Horsemen.
Well, something that's very dear to my heart. I mean, and as a parent, I had an autistic stepson that grew up, so I've always been very close to that, and always did in my heart. And a related disorder, genetic disorder, is Kabuki syndrome, and so I'm very close with Kabuki syndrome. It affects 1 out of 10,000 children that are born with this disorder, and it can have some pretty serious impairments, physically and mentally. And so I work with him a little bit. I'm very close to it there. There's an organization called All Things Kabuki that is a support network for it. And one of the things that I'm doing with related to Kabuki is I'm working very closely with the Idaho Horsemen. They have their season opening game on May 8th. A local child, I think Channel 7 has featured him, Bradley, the Channel 7 hero. He loves sports of all kinds. He just lives for sports. And I've been working with the general manager at the Idaho Horsemen. We have seats at for the games, at the season seats there for it. I'm taking Bradley to that opening game, and I'm working with the general manager, Chris Reynolds, to do something special for Bradley and with the team, because it's just going to absolutely make his day to see a live football game and to be a part of it.
That's awesome, David. Well, we're coming to the end of our time, but thank you for educating more about Ooma yourself. And thank you for carving out time for the chamber. You have been an ambassador and a great ambassador. I call raving fans of the chamber. So thank you for that investment of time. It means the world to us, David, and thank you for your membership. It extremely valuable. Thank you, David.
Well, thank you, Paul.
Absolutely. Hey, have a great weekend, and I'll see you soon. And Delta Dental, thank you for the continued partnership. Bye, David.
All right.